In September 1963, the Dallas Morning News broke the news that President John F. Kennedy was planning to visit Dallas later that year. Since then, we've been the source for coverage of the tragedy of November 22, 1963, and its aftermath for the city and nation. Here are highlights of the news JFK coverage, from long-form features that take you behind the scenes of that day in Dallas, to recent stories about the federal government's release of previously classified assassination documents. 2017 JFK Files Release. How to look up the files. You can dig through the trove of recently released federal documents relating to the Kennedy assassination. Click here to learn how. Here's where you can download the JFK files released by the National Archives. What our reporters have found. The Dallas News is going through FBI memos on the Kennedy assassination and shared some highlights. JFK files. https://coke3ivr5tzw. Twitter Moments. At Twitter Moments, October 27, 2017. First, we learned that Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev believed Dallas police were involved in a conspiracy to kill Kennedy. Then, we saw how the CIA and other agencies kept a close eye on civil rights activists. Later, we read about the CIA's many failed efforts to assassinate Cuban dictator Fidel Castro. When the National Archives releases more documents, as they're expected to in the coming months, we'll be there to provide the most up-to-date information. Poison tip. Pence. 13,000 new JFK assassination documents show CIA plots against Castro during the 1960 campaign. Kennedy visited Dallas and had a peaceful motorcade through Dallas. Learn about the forgotten motorcade by reading reporter Alan Peppard's narrative. Oswald bought a 1940 Italian surplus rifle in 1963. His first target. Ex-Gen. Edwin Walker. Read about the assassin's first missed shot here. Before gunning for JFK, Oswald targeted ex-Gen. Edwin A. Walker, and missed throughout their political careers. Kennedy and Richard Nixon were friends and foes but never far apart. Even on November 22, 1963, Nixon and Kennedy barely missed each other at Love Field. The weekend after the assassination, few people were focused on sports. The Dallas Cowboys, however, had to play a rough, unwelcome game in Cleveland. Read their story here. Later, the Cowboys would be partly responsible for helping Dallas recover from its City of Hate image. How the America's team, Dallas Cowboys, transformed the city's image after JFK assassination. The story of the assassination didn't end in November 1963. The scar it left on the city and nation was felt by an entire generation of Americans. For Dallas, children of the 60s, being from the city blamed for killing a president followed them for decades. For the survivors of the presidential motorcade, it meant recurring nightmares and gruesome memories. For the two men who photographed Oswald's murder, it meant a lifetime of praise as well as disappointment. For Oswald's widow, it meant dodging paparazzi and trying to keep a quiet life. I have never stopped looking over my shoulder. Survivors of JFK's Dallas motorcade live with scars of 1963.